What's going on, guys? Josh here from Moment Productions, and today I want to talk to you about some improvements I want to see on the DJI Mavic Pro 2. Now, this is the time of the year where DJI goes back to the drawing board and starts creating their new drone. So this time of the year is very important. So here are some things that I wish to see on the new Mavic Pro. First off, I want to see a bigger sensor on the camera. By incorporating a bigger sensor on the camera, we get a better depth of field and better low light performance. Along with that, I wish to see a better megabit and compression ratio. That way we get less noise and artifacting in our picture. 60 megabits per second right now is the current megabit rate for the DJI Mavic. Let's see what happens when they take it up to 100 megabits per second. I'm sure we're going to see a very big improvement. And when it comes down to resolution on the Mavic, I want to see 4K at 60 frames per second. I can't stress enough how much I love seeing slow motion footage at the highest possible quality. Come on, DJI, you can do it. Next up, I wish to see a wider lens, such as a 16mm. We get a wider field of view, and by using a wider lens, we are able to see movement a lot more. However, let's not just stop thinking at a 16mm fixed lens. I want DJI to create different lens attachments that allow us to go to 20mm, 25, 30, 35, and maybe even 50. I'm sure there will be a way to create these little lens attachments that allow us to get a more narrow field of view. That would be spectacular. Next, let's talk about the gimbal on the camera. Currently, if we take a look at the gimbal on the Mavic Pro, it is extremely tiny. So because the gimbal is so small, it can have a really tough time stabilizing the camera in windy conditions. So on the next Mavic Pro, I really want to see a more powerful gimbal. Next up, let's talk about obstacle avoidance. Currently, the Mavic Pro only supports forward collision avoidance. However, in the next generation of the Mavic, I want to see DJI create sensors that cover 360 degrees of the drone. That way we can fly side to side and backwards without having any issues about colliding into something. And incorporating a sensor on top of the Mavic, much like the DJI Inspired 2, we are able to avoid the obstacles that may be above the drone, such as ceilings or anything of that nature. That's something I would be extremely excited about. Next up, let's talk about flight speed. Currently, the Mavic Pro can fly at about 40 miles per hour. Even though that's really good for a drone of that size, I want to see something that can go at least 60 miles per hour. A lot of shoots can incorporate fast-moving objects, like race cars, so it would be great for a drone to keep up with that. Along with the faster speed, I definitely want to see noise reduction in the motors and propellers, much like the Mavic Platinum, and a better flight time. I know 30 minutes is an excellent flight time currently. However, since we are spiking in technology right now, we can definitely include a better battery that can get us much more flight time. Hopefully, a battery will be created that can last at least 40 to 45 minutes of flight time for the Mavic Pro 2. That's my dream. Can you just imagine traveling with only 1 or 2 batteries instead of 5 or 6? Next, let's talk about the remote controller. After about 5 or 6 flights, the remote controller just dies. The battery doesn't last long enough. So it would be great if DJI incorporated a bigger battery or a better battery for the remote controller so that way we can get more flights in. Along with that, it would be great if they also incorporated phone charging support, because we all know how quickly our phones die when we fly our drones. Also, I want to see a better connection cable going out from the remote controller into the smartphone. It's too finicky, and I feel like I can easily snap this connection cable if I'm not careful enough. Next, let's talk about transmission range and flight distance. Currently, the Mavic Pro supports over 4 miles. That's more than any of us need. So I'm pretty happy with that. Don't forget that flying that far is completely illegal and can get you into a lot of trouble. Next, I would definitely love to see hand gesture controls on the DJI Mavic. Similar to the Spark, I want to be able to fly my drone simply using my hands. Flying backwards, up, left, right, by using hand gestures. I think that's a great feature, and that will allow me to travel lighter, especially when I go hiking. This next part is important, and it all has to do with heat distribution and heat dissipation. Currently, the Mavic Pro heats up after about 5 to 10 minutes of being on. I definitely want to see improvement in that. So I hope that in the Mavic Pro 2, DJI will incorporate a much better heatsink. There have been many times when I've tried hand catching my Mavic Pro, and when doing so, I kind of burned my hand. It gets really hot after a while. So hopefully they'll fix that issue in the newer Mavic. And lastly, I want to see different color schemes on the Mavic Pro. Because when flying this drone in front of green trees or other similar environments, it's difficult to see the Mavic because it blends in with the background. So if DJI lets us customize our colors on the Mavic Pro, that would be fantastic. Or if they simply want to release different color schemes, that would be great too. Just as long as we have different color options, because a lot of us fly in different areas than others. And this green color is not my favorite, unfortunately. Alright guys, well that does it with my list of requested improvements for the Mavic Pro 2. So don't forget to comment below with any suggestions you may have on the improvements on the Mavic Pro 2. There's a good chance that DJI will see this video, so keep that in mind. Don't forget to give this video a big like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel with notifications on. I can't wait to see what you guys create. I'll see you up in the air. Bye bye.